People have been trying to kill Trump for a long time, but now they're apparently trying to kill his kids, anyone close to him. It's getting out of control, and I think I know who might be responsible. So if you follow my main channel, you might see this video, which was extensively shadow banned, but I did a video about the many bodies of Donald Trump. It's all of the people that Trump has had killed since he's been president, both times. Okay, everybody wants to say, Ross, all you talk about is gangbangers, murders in the hood. All right. Here's a video about all of Trump's bodies. I bet you didn't. I bet you don't acknowledge that one. But anyway, in this video, I talked about how Trump has assassinated several people from the Iranian leadership, and they've been trying to kill him in response numerous times for years before he even won this second presidency. But now, apparently, the Iranians are trying to kill Trump's daughter, Ivanka, man. You know what I'm saying? The smoke show. Ivanka, they're trying to get her out of here.
Much for being with us. I want to start with some breaking news this evening. There are reports circulating that first daughter Ivanka Trump has been targeted by an Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps trained terrorist in a revenge plot over the death of Iran's military chief Qasem Soleimani in a U.S. drone strike. The terrorist reportedly spoke of the plot, for which he supposedly had a blueprint of Ivanka's Florida home before his recent capture in Turkey. He has since been extradited to the U.S. So, Waleed, I want to get your reaction on this first. What do you think?
Well, first of all, jihadists in general have said that they have targeted the Trump family. I myself, as one of the first foreign policy advisors during the campaign in 2016, there was an invitation coming from Egypt, but from allies, and the campaign was very firm. The invitation was to Ivanka Trump to deliver a speech to women. The campaign was very clear, and I was from that direction. You cannot have her go because the Muslim Brotherhood, the jihadists. And now we have a problem with the Islamic regime in Iran since the assassination, mostly since that time, of the head of the Quds force. So it is very serious when we hear stories or reports about individuals who have been working with the commander who has been eliminated, who have been working with the regime against members of the families. That is a top priority, because by targeting the family, by targeting people who are close to the president or members of the cabinet or anybody who is a decision maker, they are trying to create a chaos. They are trying to create divisions to get and gain time for their regime. So we have to be very careful about that. And I am very happy that this information was unveiled, and then he is arrested.
So this guy apparently had been trying to kill Ivanka Trump. But what's really wild about this story, we actually have tweets from the alleged assassin. Okay, so this is his X account. All right, apparently this is the guy's X account. He is looking like he could be an international terrorist, just maybe from the vibe. If you slip into the swamp of compromises in your religion, do not lash out at the steadfast ones by calling them extremists. Rather, look at where your feet are placed, so you may realize you are wading through forbidden mud. It remains forbidden even if everyone is doing it. Sounds like the kind of nonsense that a international terrorist extremist might say. Look at where your feet are placed. Well, your feet are placed in the soil of the United States, as you have been extradited from Turkey and will be facing the consequences of trying to kill the president's daughter. Now, in 2014, this is when the first sort of suspect tweet from this guy came about. So let's translate this bitch. Saying, hello, Twitter, my first tweet, right? So this account kind of lay dormant for 6 years, all right? And then out of nowhere, all right, seemingly out of nowhere, 6 years or so after he makes this account, so it's on 2014, jump forward to 4/20, 2020, okay, when a big famous pack landed, all right, on 4/20, he popped out and he said, in the name of God, the subduer of the tyrants, their presence is stronger than their absence. We believe it necessary to preserve the covenants of the martyrs, especially their leaders. Resistance activists are launching a campaign on social media platforms at 8 p.m. under the hashtag. So this apparently was 3 months after Iranian General Qasem Soleimani was killed in a drone strike authorized by Trump. So when I'm talking to you about Trump's bodies, if you want to know, go watch the video that I did about that was shadow banned. But basically, Trump smoked Iranian General Qasem Soleimani. It's their top general. He smoked him back in 2020. Before he smoked the supreme leader, we was smoking on 4/20. All right, we was smoking Qasem Soleimani, the head of the Iranian National Revolutionary Guard. So this guy is basically saying, in the name of God, all right, we're going to preserve the martyrs. He's basically saying, look, we're going to slide for Soleimani. Now, a month after this, on May the 10th, which is nearly 6 years ago today, okay, he specifically mentions Ivanka Trump, right? So he was dumb enough to tweet everything that he was going to do. And this is the kind of weird shit that he was posting, okay? These weird conversations. Al-Kadimi said, hey, brother, hey, dear, how are you? Al-Abadi said, hey, hey. Al-Kadimi said, I want to borrow your electronic army. You know I founded an army. Al-Abadi said, your words are draw. My army's your army. We're all sons of one embassy. Al-Kadimi says, don't hold back, brother. The biggest rewards with Abu Ivanka's dad, said the leak said. So he's threatening and mentioning Ivanka Trump on Twitter back in 2020. This guy is probably going to get the death penalty. It wouldn't surprise me if this guy got the death penalty, because you tried to kill Trump's daughter. So on May the 21st, 2020, he's hopping on X. He's threatening Netanyahu and Trump. Said, one day we will write the names of the martyrs, and especially the martyr Soleimani, on the wall of Al-Aqsa and the Church of the Holy Sphincter. And at that time, the name of Netanyahu or Trump will have no place. Little did he know, Netanyahu and Trump would be smoking on a whole lot of his friends. We smoked your homies, okay? So he would issue more threats against Trump on X in September of 2020. This is on the 28th. He would be threatening Trump some more. Said, intense deployment of counterterrorism units and embassy agents inside Al-Qadra with the start of the American maneuvers will not deter us from revenge. And now 2 brigades from the Sacred Mobilization have been deployed in Al-Qadra, ready to annihilate you all. I advise the security apparatus not to be dragged into American sedition, otherwise you will all be crushed, and he who is warned has been excused. He's warning Trump. He's saying, we will bring a sacred mobilization. We will annihilate you all, right? So he seemed to, have some tentacles as far as what was going on in the United States, because on the 16th of December in 2021, he posted a photo of this location in the United States. Said, Imam Khomeini said it. Those who ordered and carried out the assassination of martyr Qasem Soleimani must pay the price, and this revenge will be inevitable at any available opportunity. I say to the Americans, look at this picture and know that your palaces and Secret Service will not help you. We were in the stage of monitoring and analysis. I told you our revenge is a matter of time, nothing more. Now, this is ironic, okay? So it turns out this is actually a spot that Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner had actually purchased. But what's funny is he's saying here, those Imam Khomeini said we're going to make them pay the price for anyone that killed Soleimani. We're going to get a revenge at any available opportunity. It's ironic because Trump smoked Khomeini before he could do any of that shit. So he got bodies on both of you clowns, all right? But anyway, it was apparently confirmed that this area that he posted, so he dropping the low, basically, on Ivanka Trump, because this is a property that Ivanka and Jared Kushner had purchased there previously, which I'll show you here in this video.
And welcome back. Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump appear to be moving to Miami-Dade. The daughter and son-in-law of President Trump have purchased a plot of land in upscale Indian Creek Village. The news was first reported by the New York Post's page 6, which said the acquisition is believed to be of a nearly 2-acre, 80,000-square-foot plot, most recently owned by Julio Iglesias. The property is listed at just under $32 million. A White House spokeswoman did not immediately respond to an emailed request for comment.
So you've got these terrorist psychopaths posting the address on X saying that we're going to get martyrdom and we're going to get back for our general that you guys smoked. Now, in March of 2022, there would be a tweet written in code that appeared to be kind of like a series of call-outs directed at specific individuals, basically letting them know that they're being surveilled. Now, for some reason, this isn't loading. So let me just sort this link out and I'll show you. All right, here it is. So he said M30 to hold the world accountable. Father of M25, monitoring today. I greeted him at the airport. He's M14, ports M22. Traffic analysis. I mean, he's really defeated this week. And reviewing your words. You and M33, father of the yellow cars to pay you. M50 or M10, father of wool. You sit in comfort. I see you bargaining, but may God deliver you. Father of M21, the Pakistani technical one, who can make X by a dim, not a device. So this is kind of like, apparently this is a cloaked threat, and he's basically threatening a bunch of people that are being surveilled. And I don't know if these are the ages or if these are just code names. But basically, It's saying that, you know, we've got eyes on you. We're analyzing your traffic. We know that, you know, this person was greeted at the airport. He was, you know, father of this person. So I personally feel like he's hinting towards, you know, monitoring the Trump family and their plans to get back. Now, on January the 2nd, 2023, while Trump is out of office, the threats against him from the Iranians continues. It says His Eminence Grand Ayatollah Khomeini, now in a pack, the instigators and killers of Martyr Soleimani must be retaliated against, and this vengeance is inevitable and will be carried out whenever the time is right. We must be strong on all fronts, including the economy, science, technology, defense, so enemies do not cover us and dare not to aggress us. This is the fatwa of retribution for all the free people of the world. And this is basically showing what looks like Trump on a golf course taking a swing with like this looks like a B-2 bomber above him, but I don't know if the Iranians are suggesting that that's their plane and they're going to be bombing Trump on the golf course. But this is real fighting talk, all right? This is very, very crazy, right? And it's a great way to get yourself smoked. Ayatollah Khomeini got himself smoked fucking around with Trump. So on June 2023, all right, this weirdo posts the image of the location of Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner's home once again, okay? So just a reminder to you to know what happened of the mysterious events in Barcelona last year and a few days ago, the Majori boat in Italy, and now we are reminding you of this month in which you have long tasted a part of our hardship, especially the martyrdom operation in Burgas, Bulgaria. Do not attack innocent young people and do not test our patience and peace. So once again, he shared the home location of Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner. And he posted it again on April the 21st, 2026. So bear in mind, right, that last tweet that I showed you, 3 years passes by, and in that time, his supreme leader gets smoked, all right? And he doesn't post in all that time. He said, 3 years have passed, and today the official administration from the head of Mossad. Some words are doubted when said. They turn into truth when acknowledged. This is my tweet as it is, and history speaks. And so he's basically reminding us, he's retweeting his last tweet in 2023 about how they're going to taste the martyrdom. They didn't taste shit. All they did was smoke your supreme leader, and you didn't do shit about it, pussy. So basically, around the same night that he makes this tweet, he was apparently planning to attack the US, but whoopsie, he wound up speaking with an undercover agent, all right? And that's when the paperwork comes out, all right? That's when the paperwork comes out, and he's cooked, okay? So this basically is gonna basically break down the history of this guy, okay, this weird ass dude. Basically, hit all of his plots and plans to do terrorism and kill people in America, okay? So it says from at least 2017 up to and including the date of this complaint, which is dated, is it not dated? Is it not dated? Am I being dumb? Can't see a date. Anyway, in an offense begun and committed out of the jurisdiction of any particular state or district, Mohammed Bakr Syed Dalwood Al-Sadi, the defendant, and others known, intentionally combined, conspired, confederated, and agreed together to provide material support or resources to a foreign terrorist organization, namely Kataib Hezbollah, designated by the Secretary of State as a foreign terror organization. Okay, so this man is about to be cooked, all right? And it's basically this is going to outline, okay, what he was planning to do. So let me just get to the relevant page. So this is the most relevant stuff. I'm going to read it to you. It says, on April 1st, on a recorded call, Al-Sadi explained how he would pay whoever carried out the terrorist attack on the United States. Specifically, Al-Sadi stated, normally we have a third party. We're always in Europe. We have our guys seen, even in America, for example, the other day, and in Canada, we have our guys. But if you send the mafia, they can pick a place of their choosing at any money exchange. If they hit, then that's good. But if they don't, then I get my money back. This is how the deal is. Based on my training and experience and my involvement in this investigation, I believe that in discussing the potential payment for a terrorist attack in the United States, Al-Sadi was describing his and Kataib Hezbollah's experience in paying individuals for terrorist attacks, including in connection with the European and Canadian terrorist attacks. You know what I find really pathetic about a lot of this, and I've read this a lot? There's like another situation where somebody was caught by a federal agent trying to pay someone like $5,000 to assassinate President Trump. You really think that you getting President Trump assassinated for $5,000-$10,000? Are you fucking dumb? Not only that, but you really think that some guy you meeting in a parking lot that's willing to take $5,000 off you, really somebody that's about to get busy. Like, yeah, you know, I'm so broke, I'm going to commit the craziest, most brazen crime in all of American history, bigger than the JFK assassination for 5 racks. Are you that dumb? Anyway, also that these guys are pussies. Like, bro, if you really want to kill the president, that's some dirty. Now you're going to have to get your own hands dirty. You're going to pay someone to do that. Are you dumb? What the hell are you talking? Anyway, it says, in regard to the payment, al-Sadi said, wherever you'd like it, I can give you the 10,000. Just tell me where you'd like them to be transferred and I'll do it. Only 10 racks. Take out the president. SOI1 told al-Sadi he would be back in touch with the contact for the person that was willing to carry out the terror attack in the United States in exchange for money. On April the 1st recorded call, al-Sadi called to discuss that we sent one. He was placing an IED and he was activating it. If they caught him, said Bank of America, that's the best confrontation. Based on my involvement with this investigation, I understand this to be an admission that al-Sadi was responsible for the March 28th attack on the Bank of America building in Paris, France, one of the European terror attacks. Finally, on April 1st, in a recorded call in connection with planning terror attacks in the US, al-Sadi said this war will not end. Either they eradicate us or we eradicate them. Sounds like we're going to eradicate you guys then. On or about April 3rd, 2026, SOI1 introduced UC1 over the phone to al-Sadi and represented al-Sadi that UC1 was a Mexican cartel member who had the capability of carrying out a terror attack in New York and elsewhere in the US. That same day, al-Sadi texted UC1 a photograph and a map showing the exact location of a prominent Jewish synagogue located in New York. Al-Sadi directed UC1 to carry out a terror attack against the New York synagogue, and in doing so, Al-Sadi texted UC1 specific info about the New York synagogue, including a document in Arabic that described the synagogue's congregation as one supporting the right for Israel to exist. In addition, on or about April 3rd, 2026, Al-Sadi sent UC1 photos and maps showing the exact locations of 2 additional potential US-based Jewish institutions to attack, namely 2 prominent Jewish centers in Los Angeles, California, and Scottsdale, Arizona. Al-Sadi sent the person documents in Arabic describing the Jewish centers as staunch supporters of Zionism outside of Israel and a beacon for solidarity to support Israel and its Zionist objectives. These Iranians, bro, they literally just want to kill innocent people. Whatever you think about the Israel-Palestine conflict, these are normal Jewish people in America just going about their business, trying to go to synagogue and just do their thing. And this is why we can't really allow shit like this to slide, okay? Even if you think Israel's doing bad stuff in the Middle East, like you can't just have Iranian Hezbollah terrorists out here paying people 5 racks to go and massacre Jewish people in America. It's not going to slide. And if their mindset is we need to eradicate them or they eradicate us, we didn't come here with that eradicating energy, but you guys are getting eradicated. That's how it's going to go. Anyway, it says later on at about April 3rd, 2026, UC1 sent Al-Sadi a QR code to scan that he could send UC1 an initial payment for UC1 services and carrying out a terror attack in New York. Really doing the QR code. This guy's that dumb. On or about April 4th, Al-Sadi through SOI1 relayed to UC1 that he needed additional cryptocurrency wallet details in order to receive the initial payment. On or about April 3rd, 2026, on a recorded phone call, Al-Sadi asked UC1 whether UC1 would use an improvised explosive device or set the place on fire, which, based on the context of this conversation and other conversations between Al-Sadi, UC1 or SOI1, I understand to be referring to the method that UC1 would be used to carry out the terrorist attacks against the New York synagogue and all the Jewish centers. Al-Sadi added he had no problem starting with fire, but what was most important was that the incident be recorded. On the same call, Al-Sadi discussed how much money he should pay for carrying out the terror attacks in the US. Specifically, they agreed a price of 10 grand for these attacks. That's it, 10 grand. He stated he'll make an initial payment of 3 grand in crypto, and if everything went well, he would then pay the remaining amount for the total of 10 grand. That's all that it costs to get a terror attack done. Well, he's talking to an informant. But anyway, he asked whether they could set 3 locations on fire at the same time, in which case he'll send him the full amount in a single transaction. He further stated he would prefer if they formed 3 separate teams for targeting each location, but he didn't want to rush the planning. So he would send $3,000 in crypto in anticipation of the synagogue attack. On April the 4th at 10:20 p.m., he asked over text message, will the operation be today or tomorrow? They responded, tomorrow. Then 2 days later, on April 6th at 4:23 p.m., he said, the operation needs to happen today. It's important. It's done tonight. We have more important work to do, but this needs to be done first. He said, call me with the details as soon as you can. I want to see good news tonight, not tomorrow, bro. Referring to the fact Al-Sadi wanted the terrorist attack to be completed tonight. On or about April 6th at 9:20 p.m., he sent Al-Sadi a video showing there was a police presence on the block of New York synagogue, and he asked for an update on the attack, but he wasn't given it. Then on April 7th, Al-Saudi asked him what happened and why he hadn't completed the operation. Okay, so it's pretty insane that this is even like happening. That you've got these guys running around apparently trying to commit terror attacks for $5,000, $10,000, $3,000. It's insane. So there's other crazy stuff in this paperwork, and it seemed like they were actually successfully able to commit some terror attacks. There's a bunch of footage here of different sort of, Jewish organizations in Munich, an Israeli restaurant in Munich, Germany that was attacked. There's a synagogue in North Macedonia that was arson attacked. So they were actually targeting all around the world and having these attacks go well. There was an attack against synagogue in London, which I remember seeing in the news. That's crazy that this was connected to that. They were also attacking media organizations in London. They had basically tried to load up a drone with nuclear and biological material. Apparently, this was caught by law enforcement in London. It was just 500 meters from the Israeli embassy. There was a Jewish charity that was attacked in London with an arson attack. Another arson attack at a synagogue in London, and they threw flammable liquid through the windows. So this guy was very close to achieving some of these objectives. But what's really crazy is he issued a warning on 4/20/2026, okay, basically saying that, he said, "Oh, gambling president, arrogant one, clown, tweet addict, star consumer lover." I mean, call him a tweet addict. You're a tweet addict too, you waste man. But he'll say, "Consumer lover of fried chicken and croissants in the morning, child R word. Do you know where to begin?" He said, "From the heart of the matter, where your daughter Ivanka, the whore that throws herself into the arms of men, adorns her face lightly and breathes with delight whenever she falls." So she's threatening not only Trump and his daughter, but some really interesting people. It says, upon the edge of rich or wealthy men, Arik Hirsch, James Gobelman, Lance Armstrong, Tupper Grace, Justin Murdoch, Sean Brosnan, what? Quincy Jones, Tom Brady to Kushner, you moron. Your daughter was on the brink of death 13 days ago, but our men don't kill whores. No, you fool, the retribution. So he's basically saying that we was about to kill Ivanka, but we decided not to. And what's really crazy, he then put up a 72-hour countdown. I guess this is like the countdown for them to kill Trump. And then after that, there was a stabbing of 2 Jewish men in London, and this organization claimed credit for that. So these guys are actually complete terrorists all around the world, and it is a disaster. Okay, so this guy probably needs to be executed. But anyway, so this is the latest news from the New York Post. It says Ivanka Trump was targeted for assassination by IRGC terrorist in twisted plot to avenge president taking out his mentor. So it says first daughter Ivanka Trump was targeted for assassination by an IRGC-trained terrorist in a twisted plot to avenge the president taking out his mentor. Recently captured Mohammed Bakr Saad Dawood Al-Saadi, 32, made a pledge to kill Ivanka and even had a blueprint of her Florida home. The Iraqi national was allegedly targeting President Donald Trump's family in response to the killing of Iranian military chief Qasem Soleimani in a U.S. drone strike in Baghdad 6 years ago. After Qasem was killed, Al-Saadi, went around telling people, "We need to kill Ivanka and burn down the house of Trump the way they burned our house down." So, yeah, that's him once again, right? And he was really trying to slide and get back. So we heard that he had a plan of Ivanka's house in Florida. A second source also confirmed Al-Saadi's plot to kill Ivanka. He posted a picture of a map showing the enclave in Florida where Ivanka and her husband Jared Kushner have a $24 million home on X, alongside a chilling threat in Arabic that translated to, "I say to Americans, look at this picture and know neither of your palaces nor the Secret Service will protect you. We're currently in the stage of surveillance and analysis. I told you our revenge is a matter of time." Al-Saadi is said to be a high-ranking figure in Iran-Iraq terror circles, arrested in Turkey on May the 15th and extradited to the US, where he's charged with 18 attacks and attempted attacks throughout Europe and the US, per the Department of Justice. They're going to give him the needle for sure. It said he's behind attacks on the US and Jewish targets, including the firebombing of the Bank of New York Mellon in Amsterdam in March, the stabbing of 2 Jewish victims in London in April, and a shooting at the US consulate building in Toronto, and also in March. He planned, coordinated, and allegedly took responsibility for attacks against Jewish people, including the bombing of a synagogue in Liège, Belgium, the arson of a temple in Rotterdam in March, and according to the feds, as well as other foiled attacks and counterattacks in the US in response to the current conflict in the Middle East. That's his mentor. He's in a pack with Smoke and his dumbass. That's him posted alongside a missile. He said he would be fired to pound the strongholds of Zionism. Well, in jail, he might be getting his stronghold pounded if he's not careful. But anyway, Ivanka, age 44, converted to Orthodox Judaism in 2009 prior to her marriage to property magnate Kushner. The White House didn't respond to the Post request for comment on the assassination plot, but al-Sadi is said to be an operative of both Kataib Hezbollah and Iran's IRGC, so he repping both gangs. Publicly available information shows that Mohammed Bakr was in contact and a close friend of Qasem Soleimani, and that in and of itself is a huge coup for any operative within the ranks of these militias. And on top of that, he was close to Esmail Khani, who replaced Soleimani, said Elizabeth Turkov, a senior fellow at the Washington, D.C.-based New Lines Institute, who was kidnapped in Baghdad in 2023 and held hostage by Hezbollah for 903 days before her release in September 2023. She didn't know if al-Sadi was one of her kidnappers as she only saw them masked. That is crazy. That is crazy. This guy's got all type of flyers. It's nuts. So it goes on to say General Esmail Khani, who continued to provide him with resources for his terror networks. But a lawyer for al-Sadi didn't respond to the Post request for comments. No shit. But according to Kambar al-Sadi, who was close to Soleimani, a major general in the IRGC and head of the elite's Quds force, he looked up to him as a father figure after the death of his own dad, Ahmad Kazemi, an Iranian brigadier general in 2006. Al-Sadi grew up in Baghdad and was largely raised by an Iraqi mother, but was sent to Tehran to train with the IRGC, said Kambar, now president of Future Foundation, a non-profit whose mission is to strengthen alliances between the US and Iraqi Kurds. Al-Sadi later established a travel agency specializing in religious trips, allowing him to travel around the world to connect with terror cells. When arrested in Turkey last week, Al-Sadi also had an Iraqi service passport, a special travel document issued to government employees and civil servants of that country, which can only be obtained with the consent of the Iraqi Prime Minister. It says the passport allowed him to travel freely, go through minimal or no security checks at Iraqi airports, and even have access to the VIP airport lounge. Although passport holders are still required to go through security screenings elsewhere, al-Sadi could easily obtain visas to the different countries where he allegedly planned terror attacks. He was apparently on the way to Russia when he was arrested, but surprisingly for an alleged prominent terror figure, he was surprisingly visible on social media. He's got pics next to tourist attractions like the Eiffel Tower, Paris, the Petronas Twin Towers in Kuala Lumpur, and he's got selfies kayaking and posing in front of a missile with his hand in front of his heart. So the federal indictment against him also included photos of him consulting with Soleimani at what appeared to be a military facility, poring over maps and other equipment, which he had posted on his Snapchat account. In August 2020, 7 months after Soleimani was killed, al-Sadi posted to his X account an image of Soleimani with another military figure killed in the same US strike held by a militant with an AK-47, captioned, "I will leave social media and turn off all my phones until the American enemy is defeated. Victory or martyrdom." This guy was a sucker. So it said the social media blackout didn't last long for the digital blabbermouth. In 2025, he posted on his X account, which he described as his last tweet. Al-Sadi referred to Soleimani and other Iranian military leaders killed in US strikes as martyrs. He said, "I address you while in great shock and intense weakness. I have a feeling I never experienced in my life except once at the martyrdom of Qasem Soleimani." I'd love to know how he felt when we smoked the supreme leader. He must have been livid. Al-Sadi also targeted and threatened potential victims with Snapchat messages and social media posts, in many cases sending them a photograph of a pistol with a silencer. The suspected terrorist, who also had links to Lebanese paramilitary force Hezbollah, is currently in solitary confinement at the MDC in Brooklyn. Oh, man. 6ix9ine could have been there to give this guy a fade, man, if he'd landed a few months ago. So he's in there with the CEO shooter Luigi Mangione and Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro, but he'll be in solitary confinement, and no doubt Trump will be looking for the death penalty for this guy that tried to kill his daughter. It is crazy, okay? So let me know what you thought of that video, right? We're doing a little bit of politics. I'm trying to do a bunch of other topics. I feel like you guys be tricking me out of my position because you moan and moan and moan, "Oh, you're doing too much, David." All right, here's some other stuff, and you don't watch it. So go and watch all the videos I'm doing on other topics right now, all right? Otherwise, I'm just going to stop listening to you guys. But anyway, thank you for watching this one, okay? Hope you enjoyed it. This was really different, okay? I wanted to cover this, no doubt. All right, let's see. All right, if you want to hear more stuff like this, let me know. Or if you just want me to do 5 David updates a day, all right, and then you're just going to complain all the way, but you're going to watch it all. We're going to see, all right? But thank you for watching this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out. Peace.